הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב.
הנה, הנה,
הנה,
הנה מה טוב. Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to Temple Emanu-El. I'm Rabbi Amy Ehrlich, joined on the pulpit by Cantor Mo Glassman and Cantor Sarah Anderson. And tonight we're also delighted to welcome our Rabbinic intern, Emma Dubin, to the pulpit. Throughout the coming year, we'll all be enriched by her growing scholarship and her wisdom and her teaching, as we are tonight. Hine ma tov, how good it is to come together for Shabbat, in prayer and in song. And as we do, this evening we are acutely aware that the world mourns the death of Queen Elizabeth II, and while we celebrate 246 years of independence as a nation, as Jews, we are deeply attuned to the lessons and values that she represented and upheld. The strength that continuity confers, we would say l'dor va'ador, from generation to generation. We add to the shalshelet ha'kabbalah, to the chain of tradition, the importance of ceremony and ritual. From birth to bar mitzvah, to the chuppah to shiva, we know very well how every ritual, each appropriate to its moment, each ritual garment and formulaic blessing serves as a connection to our ancestors and our faith as we follow in their footsteps. The optimistic outlook she gave her nation and countless others, which provided comfort, strength, and courage during dark times. As Pirkei Avot instructs us all to greet each other with a friendly countenance. Her ability to make changes in a woman's leadership role while still maintaining the framework of tradition. And finally, the Queen's example of giving her best to the work that had no end is entirely in the spirit of Rabbi Tarfon's teaching, that it is not one's duty to complete the work, but neither are we free to refrain from it. That is the very Jewish lens through which we may admire a woman who was unexpectedly called to shepherd her people. How good it is to come together, to seek Shabbat rest, and celebrate the values of our tradition.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב.
הנה, הנה,
הנה,
הנה מה טוב.
Of us who carry years,
There are those who tarry years,
there are those who are born to us,
and there are those who come to us,
and there are those who know their dreams, and those who dream to know. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
הנה מה טוב ומה Before we light Shabbat candles, we wish Sarah Horowitz and her family Mazel Tov. Tomorrow, Sarah will be called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. Now join me on page 15. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Please take a moment now to turn to those around you and wish them Shabbat Shalom. Our service continues in the prayer book on page 54. For our ancestors, Shabbat was a sign of God's covenant of peace with the universe. They kept it faithfully. When their lives were torn, Shabbat made them whole. When their lives were bitter, it brought them sweetness. And when their lives were peaceful, it deepened their joy. Our ways are not like theirs. We have many idle days, but few Sabbaths. We speak many words, but few prayers. We make the earth yield to our purpose, but are unsure of the ground beneath us. But here, now, we can begin again. Or having already begun, we can continue our quest for the wholeness we need. We rise for the Baruch Hu. God, where can I find you? Your glory fills the world. Behold, I find you where the farmer breaks through the hard soil, where the quarry worker explodes stone out of the hillside, where the miner digs metals out of the reluctant earth, where men and women earn their bread by the sweat of their brow. Among the lonely and the poor, the lowly, the lost, you are with them in blazing heat and shattering storm. Behold, I find you in the mind, free to sail by its own star, in words that spring from the depth of truth, where endeavor reaches undespairing for perfection, wherever people struggle for justice and freedom, where the scientist toils to unravel the secrets of your world, where the poet makes beauty out of words, wherever noble deeds are done. Behold, I find you in the merry shouts of children at their play, in the mother's lullaby as she rocks her baby in the cradle, in the sleep falling on an infant's eyelids, and in the smile that dances on a child's sleeping lips. Behold, I find you when dawn comes up golden, bearing gifts, and in the fall of evening bringing peace and rest from the western sea, in the joy that flows from heaven with morning light, in the current of life, flowing day and night through all things, surging through my veins and in the dust of the earth, in blades of grass beyond count, in every leaf and flower. Behold, I find you the wealth of joys that quickly fade, in the pulse of the life that comes from eternity and dances in my own blood, in birth which renews the generations continually, and in death knocking on the doors of life. O my God, give me the strength never to cast off one in need, never to bend the knee before any tyrant. Give me the strength to lift my spirit above the trivial, to bear lightly my joys and my sorrows, and in love to surrender all my strength to your will. For great are the gifts you have given me, the sky and the light, this my very being, life and the soul, treasures invaluable, treasures of life and of love. We rise and say together, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lebavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta habam בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
The middle of page 58. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, a world waiting still to be redeemed, give us the courage to say, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare God's glory. May earth reveal God's justice and God's love. From Egypt, the house of bondage, we were delivered. At Sinai, amid peals of thunder, we bound ourselves to God's purpose. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, We survived oppression and exile, time and again overcoming the forces that would have destroyed us. Our failings are many, our faults are great, yet it has been our glory to bear witness to our God and keep alive in dark ages the vision of a world redeemed. May this vision never fade. Let us continue to work for the day when nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we sing with one accord as Israel sang at the shores of the sea.
Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele, mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora ראו בניך בוקי הים לפני משה מרים אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. All right, please sing with us.
The shadows fall, but end of day fills the eye with brightness. The infinite heavens glow, and all creation sings its hymn of glory. With hope, therefore, we pray for light within. O God, reveal yourself, hide no more. Let your face shine on all who seek you. Eternal and infinite God, banish our darkness. Be present to us as a sudden light that lifts the heart and brings us joy. Then shall we be at peace, O God, whose peaceful shelter we seek through all the days and nights of our lives.
ישמחו במלכותך, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. מקדשי שבי, מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישבעו ויתענגו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג שבת.
us for the Amidah on page 60.
Adonai, Sefatai Tifta, Ufi Agite Hilatecha. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Ata Adonai, Magen Avraham, Vezrat Sarah.
A world where miracles spring up to meet us along the way, we hold you close and give thanks for morning light, for evening calm. Sun and moon, sea and sky, snow and mist, city streets and country lanes. What joy
to know you, how excellent to touch you.
To live in nothing more would be enough to make us glad. Yet morning, noon, and night a task awaits us. The lost and hungry to be found and fed,
The sick and sad to be healed and cherished,
a
the peaceful world to be built and kept.
Blessed is the gift of life, blessed the source of life and its sacred tasks. Please be seated. Page 63. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. May this day fulfill its promise. May these words help all who are in need of healing find comfort as we turn to the source of healing. If there is someone that you are praying for, including yourself, I invite you to share those names aloud so that they may become part of our prayers as well. Nani Gerber, Samantha Friedman. For all those named aloud and those named in our hearts, we continue with the blessing for healing on page 84. We continue with the prayers of our own hearts.
Shabbat Shalom. I am Emma Dubin, a third-year student at the Hebrew Union College, and I am honored to serve as Temple Emanu-El's rabbinical intern. Rabbi Davidson invited me to share tonight what drew me to the rabbinate. So I'm going to start with the first spiritually transformative moment of my life. I was 7 years old, and I had just received my first pair of glasses. My father was driving me back home from LensCrafters, and I was astonished. I exclaimed, "I can see all the leaves on the trees. Dad, there are little wrinkles around your eyes. I can read the words on the signs." And in the backseat of the car, I was amazed, and then suddenly a little dismayed. I realized I've been missing things. How many horses had we driven by that I had not seen? Horse spotting from the back seat was a big interest of mine at age 7. How many cool flowers, how many laugh lines and freckles on my loved ones' faces had I missed? I realized in that moment that I had not understood how rich the world is. There's so much more depth and beauty than I had known. When I remember that first day with my glasses, I think of the words of our patriarch Jacob when he awoke from his dream at Bethel of the stairway reaching the sky. Jacob opened his eyes and exclaimed, "Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh ve'anochi lo yadati." Surely God is in this place, and I did not know it. God, of course, had been in Bethel all along. God is here with us tonight in Bethel. The leaves on the trees and laugh lines on my dad's face were there before I saw them. Yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh. God is in this place. God is in all places. And if we have the right tools, the right glasses, and if we are attentive, we can witness God's presence. Judaism offers a prism that can magnify and refract the world's wonders. A practice of brachot, blessing even daily routines, trains us to recognize and appreciate the natural wonders of our world. Judaism cultivates gratitude and builds the muscle of hope. Jewish ritual and texts guide us through the world as it is and shape our dreams of the world as it ought to be. Judaism gives us our people, those we see weekly at Shabbat and Torah study and synagogue, but also our people as identity, the ancestors in whom we see ourselves and what we could be. I believe Judaism is joyful. I believe Judaism belongs to us today as much as it belonged to our great-grandparents and as much as it belongs to our more traditionally observant co-religionists. Judaism has never been stagnant. Tradition changes to meet the communal and spiritual needs of Jews across time and place. There is a powerful example of how Jewish law has changed over time in this week's Torah portion, Ki Tetzeh, where we find a precept deeply troubling to many modern readers. If a man has a ben sorer umoreh, a rebellious and defiant child who does not heed his father or mother and does not obey them even after they discipline him, his father and mother shall take hold of him and bring him out to the elders of his town at the public place of his community. They shall say to the elders of his town, "This son of ours is rebellious and defiant. He does not listen to our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard." Thereupon his town's council shall stone him to death. Thus you will sweep out evil from your midst. All Israel will hear and be afraid. In short, disobedient children are stoned to death. If you think, yikes, that's pretty harsh, well, the rabbis of the Talmud thought so too. And though they do not explicitly reject the biblical precept, they substantially limit the law's applicability until they effectively annul it. The first thing the Tanaim, whose discussions are codified in the Mishnah around 200 CE, do is narrow the parameters of who can be considered a rebellious and defiant child. While the Hebrew word ben can mean either child or son, the rabbis read it as exclusively son. The Tanaim then turned their focus to the age of the child. Because the age of responsibility is bar mitzvah, the boy must be at least 13. Then the Tanaim take a more unusual step. They establish not just a minimum age, but a maximum age that a boy can be charged, until he has grown a beard. An adult man, the rabbis figure, would not be subject to his parents' authority. The penalty for the rebellious and defiant child is imposed on a son, but not a man. So the Tanaim have narrowed who's possibly liable as a rebellious and defiant child to a boy between the age of bar mitzvah and a beard, roughly a teenage boy. Next, they define what exactly a boy must do to be considered rebellious and defiant. Naturally, a glutton and drunkard should be stoned, but the rabbis qualify not if he was celebrating a holiday or engaged in another mitzvah. So the person who drinks heavily at Purim, say, or eats too much brisket at a Passover Seder, he's in the clear. What if he breaks other commandments, like kashrut? Nope, not liable. because by eating treif, he's defying God, but not defying his parents. The Tanaim continue with carve-outs in this vein until only a teenage boy who eats kosher meat to excess and drinks wine to excess, not when celebrating a mitzvah, whose mother and father want to see him stoned to death, after having been previously warned to stop his disobedient ways and flogged, is possibly, maybe, perhaps liable for the death penalty. One begins to understand that the Tanaim shared our discomfort with the Torah verse. But let's not stop with the Mishnah. In the Babylonian Talmud, codified around 500 to 600 CE, the rabbis quote Rabbi Yehuda as having said that if the son's mother and father were not identical in voice, height, and appearance, the son cannot be a ben sorer umoreh. The logic? In the Torah verse, the mother and father say that the son will not obey our voices. Rabbi Yehuda interprets that as meaning that the two parents must have the same voice. And he continues, if they are required to have an identical voice, they must also be required to be identical in height and appearance. And at that point, really, there's no realistic path for anyone to be charged with a punishment for the ben sorer umoreh. The Torah precept has been made functionally irrelevant. I don't mean to suggest that Torah interpretation is endlessly malleable, that Jewish tradition can be anything we want it to be without limits. But I do believe that, brilliantly, built into Jewish interpretive tradition is the flexibility to twist away from cruelty. When the tradition offers a principle that is harsher than what the community is willing to abide by, we readjust. Central to our ability to readjust is that Jews have never been Torah literalists. We cannot simply read the Pentateuch and live accordingly. For the last 1,500 years, the Talmud has been the principal source of Jewish life and practice. Today, we live by the Torah as it has been refracted by millennia of interpretation. With each generation, Jewish interpretive tradition expands. Over the generations, 2 severe laws are amended. It is our sacred duty to participate in that work. As our Reformed forebears wrote in the Columbus Platform in 1937, each age has the obligation to adapt the teachings of the Torah to its basic needs in consonance with the genius of Judaism. Just as Judaism offers us something extraordinary, a toolkit, the glasses, if you will, to see the divine, so too do we all have something to contribute to Judaism. We all have Torah within us, and we all need one another's Torah. I can't wait to learn your Torah, pray together, and get to know you in the year to come. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Amen.
In this house beats the heart of a family. In this house is the center of a community. By study and we pray, find meaning in each day. In this house, in this house, in this house.
This house is a spark of God's creation. In this house there is joy and celebration. By song or by word, the prayers will be heard. In this house, in this house, in this house.
In this house, it all In this house we can shelter, we can clothe and feed. In this house there is always room for those in need. A stranger makes a friend, becomes inspired again. In this house, in this house, in this house. In this house, in this house, it all comes together in this house. In this house, in this house, it all comes together in this house of God. A house of study, a house of prayer,
A house of gathering from everywhere.
how lovely is your dwelling place, O Jacob. Blessing upon blessing, build these walls. In this house, it all comes together. Would you put your hands together and clap with us? In this house, it all comes together in this house of God.
Page 139.
Let us adore the ever-living God. We render praise unto you, who spread out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else. Va'anachnu koreim umishtachavim umodim.
May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech על כל הארץ.
Page 142. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, and life is a journey. From childhood to maturity and youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion, and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength, or strength to weakness, and often back again. From health to sickness, and back we pray to health again. From offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, and grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, until looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies, not at some high place along the way, but having made the journey stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, and life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage to life everlasting. Our memorial lamps are kindled on this Sabbath, that we might recall during this anniversary week of his passing the great life and outstanding labors of Rabbi Julius Mark, who served as senior rabbi from 1948 until his retirement in 1968. Dr. Mark was ordained in 1922 and served pulpits in South Bend, Indiana, and in Nashville, Tennessee. Even in the early days of his rabbinate, Dr. Mark was known as a champion of civil rights and an ardent spokesman for the cause of Zionism. As a naval chaplain during the Second World War, he brought courage and comfort to thousands of servicemen, and we too remember him with blessing. We also lovingly remember and mention by name our own dear ones, cherished members of our congregational family. Ruth Zelda Berger Temkin, Jack Berkule, Harriet Beebe, Paul Brody, Joseph Burak, Kenneth Buchin, William J. Dooms, Ruth Eisen, Beatrice Fetter, Sarah Finns, Ira Fertel, Florence Gelman, Max Greenwald, Milton Helsel, Jack Hoffinger, Abraham Israelite, Dina Kaplanovich, Lillian Carroll, Lillian Carfunkel, Stanton Herbert Katzoff, Jonathan I. Klyer, Norman M. Kramer, Joseph Krumholtz, Charlotte Levine, Claire Lorch, Howard Lublin, Kimberly Ann Markel, Molly Cohn Marlowe, David E. Maris, Daniel O'Brien Sr., Toby Seligman Perlin, Aileen Rickel, Arthur Ross, Alexander Rosenfeld, Shirley Sachs, Dana Karen Saltzman, Janet Beth Seeger, Ronald Sherman, Pearl Slater, Gail Sandra Unowski, Janet Weinbaum, Rose R. Wolf. As we mark the anniversary of September 11th this weekend, we also recall all those who perished as victims and as first responders, and embrace all who cherish them, and stand with all who still grieve. If you have had a recent loss, we invite you to rise now. And for those who are marking a yahrzeit, we ask that you rise as well. And now we stand together as one congregational family to hallow and sanctify God's name with the words of the Kaddish on page 145. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba, Yomad yivrach yirutev yam lich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayedechol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav vizman kariv v'imru amen. He shemei Rabba mivorach leolam la'almei almayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha v'rechu, la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiram b'yoma v'imru amen. He shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all those who are bereaved among us. And let us say together, Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated.
Oseh shalom bimromam, hu yaseh shalom aleinu.
Shabbat Shalom once again. Whether you are here with us in person or joining us from the comfort of your home, we're delighted to spend this Shabbat with you. Temple Emanu-El is a place of community and gathering, study and growth for all who would join us in peace. Our calendar is so full that I invite you to view it online to be sure that you don't miss a thing. But here are some highlights of the coming events. At 8 tonight, we celebrate Friday Night Hub for young professionals in their 20s and 30s. And if you qualify, we want to see you next door in the sanctuary. Tomorrow morning, weekly Torah study resumes. Please email our membership office for the Zoom link. If you wish to participate in a day of service for September 11th, please go to our website for information to learn how to partner with Dorot in their holiday package delivery. Stitch in Time meets on Sunday at 11, Young Families Rooftop at 12:30. The Strikers Centers The Stryker Cultural Center's Welcome Back Week, which begins on Monday, features events every night of the week and includes Justice Elena Kagan, the Ukrainian Press Secretary Yulia Mendel, and Nina Totenberg. There is still time to sign up. Again, you won't want to miss any one of these amazing experiences. Tuesday begins with our meditation circle, the women of Emanu-El's trolley tour of Greenwood Cemetery, and bop with us in the afternoon. Community as Family meets on Wednesday at 2. Our support group for the Dorot generation on Thursday. And next week concludes with Slichot on Saturday evening, September 17th at 8 p.m., a moving service of penitential prayers, which initiates the high holiday season. So we invite you again to check the calendar for all the events that are coming up, the Young Family events happening daily downtown. On Sunday the 18th, all are welcome to join in the New Year's celebration from 3 to 5 at our new downtown campus. We ask that you register beforehand. Information about high holiday services, our new gather groups, learning opportunities, and of course the Stryker cultural events. Please go to our website, emmanuelnyc.org. And finally, for those of you who are here with us in person, kindly leave your prayer books on your seats as you go. We continue on page 147 with Kiddush and then Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'asei v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zeicher litziat Mitzrayim ki avanu v'acharta ve'otanu kiddashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaletanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz.
Our closing song is Oseh Shalom on page 157. Please rise as you are able.
Yalla la 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 yalla yalla la yalla la yalla la 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 yalla la yalla la yalla la yalla la 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 yalla yalla la yalla la yalla la la yalla la yalla la yalla la Oseh Shalom bimroma hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imu say shalom together. Oh, say shalom bimroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imu.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
May God bless you and keep you.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך.
May God's light fill you with confidence and courage.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום, שלום.
May you feel God's presence within you, and may it bring you an abiding sense of peace.